What I would say to parents facing a custody case is to think about your children before you start the process. And it may surprise you to know this, but your children probably don't want you to be divorced. And we know that divorce hurts kids, but we also know that the less the parties fight, the less they disagree, and the more they're able to get along and co-parent their children, then the less hurtful that is for the kids.
What we generally do in a custody case is we try to see where the parties are in the beginning. If they're fairly close together, we can help them work through a parenting plan fairly early on. If that's not possible, we ask the court for a temporary order, and that sets the status quo for the rest of the case. After that, the case can go a couple of different ways. Typically, there'll be some kind of mediation process, and if that fails, then we have to go to trial. We try to reserve trial as the last possible option because you're really leaving it a very important decision up to somebody else.
The standard that the court uses in determining custody is the best interest of the child. And that's what it means. That's what it literally means, is the best interest of the child. Not what's convenient, not what's easy, best interest of the child. When a client figures that out, it makes custody issues so much easier to resolve. Sometimes when a case is unsolvable, a court can order a custody evaluation. The custody evaluation involves the children and the parties seeing a psychologist who is going to make recommendations to the court about the custody of the children. This should only be used as a last resort, but sometimes it is necessary.
The focus at our firm is on parenting plans that are practical. We want to find a workable solution that's going to make sense for your family. What we won't do is encourage you to aggravate circumstances or participate in tactics that are going to make your case more expensive, more time-consuming, and ultimately harmful to your overall situation. We want you to come out of this with a practical parenting plan, something that's going to work for your family, and that's the crucial difference between our firm and other firms.
When helping a client determine what is the best custody arrangement for their children, we look at not only the age and developmental capacity of the child, but we also look at what their schedule is throughout the week for schooling and otherwise, and then we try to find which parent may be best accommodating to that schedule based on their own work and activities. All of these things come together to help us craft a plan that is best for this family.
One of the things I get asked a lot by clients is whether or not their kid or kids could go before a judge and testify to choose what parent the kid wants to go with. I think that's absolutely a terrible idea. No kid should be put in a position to choose what parent they want to go with, especially considering most of the time it's going to be in the best interest of the child to have a relationship with both parents. So when it comes to testifying before a judge, it's not something we're going to recommend a kid to do unless it's absolutely necessary.
One of the biggest problems that I see parents having in custody cases is not having the ability to kind of step back and take a look at really what is in the best interest of the child. So a lot of parents get caught up in the emotional needs, what feels right, what feels fair about that. And I think my job as an attorney has always been to help my client fashion something that's going to follow the actual legal standard that the courts look at, and that is what is in the best interest of your child when you're putting together a custody arrangement.
A lot of parents ask me whether or not their kids should be in counseling during the divorce. And what I tell them is it's not right for everybody, but that usually it can be very beneficial for kids who are dealing with some really challenging emotions. Divorce is hard for adults, let alone for the kids who may not understand why things are happening the way they are. And so having a professional who can help your children really understand the change and why it's happening and help them deal with those emotions can make it a much easier transition for them.